Welcome back, everybody. My name is Kevin Strange. I am a cartoonist, novelist, and independent filmmaker, and I'm here today to share with you my love of comic books. And I'm joined by the illustrious Dr. Ben, my good friend. Dr. Ben, thank you for joining us today.
What's going on, Kevin? Another beautiful day in the world of comic books.
It is always a sunny day in comic book land. Today we're here to talk about Eastman and Laird's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the groundbreaking black and white indie comic book of the 1980s and 90s that pretty much revolutionized what creator-owned uh, self-publishing in comic books, along with these other two. This is a phone book worth of Ninja Turtles. I also have a phone book worth of Dave Sim's Cerebus, which was also self-published, and Eastman and Laird credit uh, Dave Sim and the the Peenies, Wendy and Richard Peeney
ElfQuest.
of ElfQuest fame, of sort of paving the way for indie self-published comic books to be released in comic book shops uh, worldwide. And so if it wasn't for Cerebus and ElfQuest, there may not be the Ninja Turtles. But today, we're not here to talk about Cerebus, and we're not here to talk about ElfQuest. We're here to talk about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, specifically the Eastman and Laird Ninja Turtles, and more specifically, we're going to talk about a sort of uh, a sort of Mandela effect surrounding the release of this original series because guys like me, guys like Dr. Ben, who grew up in the 1980s, we didn't necessarily have local comic book shops. I got the majority of my comics when I was young from the spinner rack at my local general store. And the spinner rack at my local general store didn't carry Eastman Laird Ninja Turtles; they carried the Archie Ninja Turtles. And so we grew up on the television show, the 1980s, 1986, I believe. You can correct me in the comments, gang, if I'm wrong about that. 1986 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles television show that sort of radically changed what radically did you get that, Dr. Ben?
Oh,
Radically changed what the Ninja Turtles were from the Eastman and Laird Turtles and made them much more children friendly and made them much more palatable to the mainstream,
yeah.
and also made them in color. So all of the turtles got color coded bandanas and
Headbands,
head,
wristbands.
yeah, wristbands and what's the word I'm struggling for is elbow pads and knee pads. Do they have knee pads? I don't know. Probably.
Yeah,
Uh,
sometimes.
yeah. Here's a Donatello's knee pad. So they kind of color because the turtles always had they were always defined by their weapon.
Right.
Donatello always had the staff, and Raphael always had the sai and all that. By the way, this is the gross monster issue.
Gross.
And
Oh, the gross monster.
the gross monster issue.
Worst
And
kinds.
so we already have a cockroach monster here on like page 2 or 3. But growing up, me and all my friends that would read, look at this is awesome. This is awesome. Look at him. Isn't he awesome?
Okay. Well,
Uh,
he's gross.
me and he's called Worm. He's made
But
of
he's
blood
got like a little mouth on his tongue.
on his tongue. Yes. But as we grew up reading these Archie Ninja Turtles comics and watching the television show, we were always told that there was this hardcore,
Oh yeah.
bloody, super gory, black and white version of the Ninja Turtles where the turtles cussed. Because if you remember, in Ninja Turtles, the movie,
They
the live
swore.
action film, at the end of the first scene, when Raphael loses his sai from just under the manhole, he says, "Damn." Oh my God, the Ninja Turtles cussed in the movie. That solidified it had to mean that they cuss all over this
Yeah.
original gritty black and white comic, right? Wrong.
Exactly.
Wrong. this comic, and this is rarely talked about by people because most people have never read the original Black and White Ninja Turtles comics. These are not much more violent or weird than the Archie Turtles. These are Eastman and Laird. They made a comic for kids. They made a comic for the mainstream. That's why it blew up as big as it did. That's why it sold. What did the original print run of Ninja Turtles was? What, 3,000 or 6,000? And they sold that and then got like it went up to what I think wasn't it Cerebus Ninja Turtles 8 with featuring Cerebus? Didn't that break the record for sales? Didn't it do like 60 something thousand in its print run?
It's possible. I don't. You're on your own here with the turtle stuff.
Tell us in the comments, gang. If we get it wrong, you're our backup. You're our backup dollar bin diggers, and it's you're more than welcome to correct us when we get something wrong. So I just wanted to go through and show some stuff here from the original Ninja Turtles run. Another well, we'll get to that when we get to it. But yeah, you see these guys, firing off guns, and a great thing, and this has been talked about. Cartoonist kayfabe, Ed Piskor and Jim Rugg talked about a lot of it. They went over a lot of the Ninja Turtles with Eastman and Laird doing commentary. So this is kind of retread territory, but I always like to go back and look at these original issues and all this duotone and duoshade that Eastman and Laird used to create all of the shadow effects of these original comics. It's just great. It's just amazing.
Isn't that like it's like reactive paper of like different.
You're actually painting a chemical onto the page, and if I get in real close there, you can see everything that's not black ink is painted chemical, and so the paper reacted to different chemicals, either lighter or darker. So right. you would dip your brush and or pen, and you would paint on the lighter chemical and then the darker chemical. And as you can see, there's like 2, 3, 4, 5 different shades that run throughout even this one panel. And so they were meticulous cartoonists when it came to and they're credited with kind of revolutionizing that duotone or duoshade style with the Ninja Turtles comic. But I mean, am I missing some cussing here? Am I missing blood and guts? Because this is just Ninja Turtles, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like, where's the violent part? Like, I want to see, like, this is the collection of like the first.
This is the first 7 issues.
This collection here. Okay, so that should be like establishing that they're like splatterpunk, like ultra violence, like
right.
Rambo.
This is the gritty, hardcore indie version of the Ninja Turtles, and if you see it, it's really just telling the origin story of the Ninja, which is awesome. I'm not disparaging the Ninja Turtles. I'm saying that there's this, the urban legend or this sort of Mandela effect over time of trying to paint this as some kind of like hardcore outlaw comic. I'm just not seeing it, and I've read through these first 7, 8 issues many times, and it's just awesome Ninja Turtle stuff. Like, I would let my kids read this. This isn't crazy.
Yeah, I'm not seeing, like, I think there was a couple like splatter kind of like, but like it wasn't like yeah, I mean it
starts to get real violent here as they fight Shredder, but we'll go through and look, and you can tell me what level of violence you think that is. But look how awesome!
It is pretty.
Look how awesome this is the reveal of the Shredder. Like, this is it, and then this is him,
like the first issue, or where is this at in the collection?
This is the first issue. This is page 30 of the first issue. Yeah, Shredder dies at the end of the first. I guess you don't know that. Spoiler alert, Shredder dies at the end of the first issue. And when they bring him back by having these worms eat his remains, and then the worms become clone shredders. It's really weird.
Are you shitting
This
me?
is an awesome. I love Ninja. Ninja Turtles is one of my favorite properties. Look at that. Look at that double page.
He comes back as worms?
Yeah, worm
What?
clones. Worm clones of Shredder. Multiple clones. This is great. This is great stuff, though. If you're into that, if you're into black and white indie comics, like it doesn't. I don't think it gets better than this. This is so. Here's. I mean, I guess this is blood. I guess this is blood, but it's not crazy.
Right. It's not.
Is this blood coming off of him? I think it might be sweat. And he's cut open. He's ripped open down here.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on, this is tame.
And now this is also like this is kind of like their not like their version, but like they're like highly influenced by like Daredevil and Elektra.
Frank Miller, yeah.
By Frank Miller.
Right, which in and of itself has a little blood here and there. You know what I mean? This isn't crazy. He's getting hit with stuff. Yeah, sure.
Well, so who is the Shredder? If the Turtles are kind of like a version of Daredevil, who is the Shredder?
Well, Shredder is the leader of the Foot Clan, and in Daredevil they have the Hand.
Right.
And I'm not sure who and Splinter, the Daredevil's mentor is Stick.
Yeah.
Theirs is Splinter. I'm not sure who's the villain of Daredevil. Kingpin, right?
I mean, he's got a bunch of different guys, but like that's what I'm saying. It's like Kingpin.
But Kingpin isn't
Bullseye.
the leader. They're not in the Hand, though, right? Who's the leader of the Hand? Because Shredder's the leader of the Foot.
Is there a leader of the Hand? I don't even know. And it's not like the Mandarin. That's probably like. I don't think it's the Mandarin. He didn't fight the Mandarin.
So here he's pretty bloodied up. He's getting cut on, stabbed on. He's got blood all over his face. But is this really, I guess he does take Leonardo's katana to the belly. That's a pretty violent image, but that really, to me, I would say this is the first violent image. Why is he giving speaking the Walmart logo? But
wait, is that that's Casey Jones. Yeah, that's Casey Jones, right?
No,
he cut it.
They're still fighting the Shredder. Look, they knock his mask off. It's the Shredder. Then they knock him into the dumpster. That's the end of him. That's the end of the Shredder.
This is insane.
And they kind of toss his blade gauntlet behind him, and that's look at that. That is an amazing.
That is
final splash page. The end. That was. Oh, sorry, you can't see it. The end. That's what an issue. They kind of intended it to just. They intended to just put it out as like one off.
Huh.
See what happens.
Right.
And boy, did something happen. But let's jump into issue 2 because there's another sort of Mandela effect controversy that surrounds the Ninja Turtles that I don't see talked about a lot.
That's the first issue. Like the first issue, like introduces everybody, and also they beat the freaking supervillain. Like
in 45 pages. Yeah, one big 45-page double issue.
It's insane.
And then look at this. They like to do the Kirby splash page. Double splash page in issue 2. Look at that double splash. Look at that. I love this turtle in the foreground without his bandana on. Some of them do, and some of them don't. And then Splinter's just chilling back here. They were. I mean, this is just great cartooning, dude. This is everything you want out of an indie black and white comic. I think they're the best. I mean, I don't know. I would argue they're the best to do it. I think they're the best to do the black and white medium. I know it's a bold statement, but look at this. I would. This is Exhibit 1, Dr. Ben. This page, this splash page right here, speaks for itself.
I don't know how I feel about the. I'm sure it's supposed to be a tail and not like a turtle.
Turtle dick.
Long. right?
Yeah.
But I don't. I think they should have just been like, we'll just leave the tail off.
This one here was bothering you, or this one here?
Both of them.
It's a double.
That one kind
Double.
of looks like he's got a little turtle head.
So right away in issue number 2, we are introduced to Baxter Stockman, who is clearly black, clearly drawn African American.
Okay.
And you can especially see that here in this bottom panel.
Yeah.
You can see that he is of African American coloration, and next to him is his assistant, April O'Neil.
She's his assistant.
April O'Neil, clearly a white girl. Look at the difference in complexion.
Maybe Hispanic or Puerto Rican, perhaps. But O'Neil,
a little less clear in that top panel, right? That's it. It's also supposed to be April.
Okay, that looks more like an '80s, like like the rocker poof cut that they had.
So a lot of people believe that April was originally a black girl in Ninja Turtles comics, and she's just not. She's just most certainly not. Baxter is. Baxter was race swapped in the cartoon to be a redheaded white guy, but April pretty much looks like April.
Wasn't it something like one of their like girlfriends was like sort of what they based April on, or no?
So there's been over the years there have been like conflicting sort of anecdotes given by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird respectively.
Right.
And Peter basically these days says, I don't remember. Ask Kevin. And Kevin says, well, she was kind of based on my girlfriend at the time who was mixed, but it wasn't like her blackness. She wasn't mixed like towards the black side. She was mixed towards the white side, I guess, is what the implication was of like, she was just like a normal white girl. And that's what he was trying to, he was like, and so Kevin, the way Kevin describes it is like, if I failed to draw her, if is sufficiently Caucasian, that's just my failings as a cartoonist. She was supposed to be white. And that should be the end of it, but it's not. People on the internet love to claim that this is a black girl.
Yeah, I know.
And here she is next to a black guy. Like clearly, they're different. So that's another weird Mandela thing with the Ninja Turtles. And look at these Mousers are such a Kevin credits Peter for all like the tech of doing all the different tech stuff, and these Mousers are just look at that design. You can see down this one's throat. Look at the metallics using the duoshade or duotone to create that metallic effect going all the way down that Mouser's throat. Amazing design. Kind of an unfortunate shading spot right here, Dr. Ben.
Oh yeah, it is a little bit too much. It's like
I'm not sure what we're trying to convey there. Go ahead, move on. Every time I see these splash pages of the turtles, just look how cool they look. And that's a completely different turtle design than what we get. These Archie turtles are designed directly off of the television show, the television cartoon. And look at the difference. And so there's Donatello, original
right.
Donatello from the TV show. It's the same character, completely different design, right?
I don't know
I'm not out of line. I'm not out of line by suggesting that that's completely different character design, am I?
I mean, it's more like refined, or it has like just kind of like it. I could believe it was a different character if you were telling me that.
Down.
Like this is the original one, and then this is one that someone else made in imitation, but it's not. Yeah. I'd be like, yeah, I get it. Like, yeah, it's different, but I mean, it's.
But they're both aesthetically pleasing in their own way too. Like I like the simplified cartoony version of them, but I also love this this black and white version. That these like the way the teeth come out the sides like that, like they're in a like an endless grimace. And look, they're all like that. They all have that same grimace to them.
That's like the Cerebus grimace face, isn't it? Where his teeth are on both sides, and he's got
right. I'll probably heavily influence the look of the Turtles.
Yeah, because like Cerebus, that's what I was gonna say. Cerebus started in like, was it 77? Yeah,
Yeah.
Cerebus #1 from 1977. You said Turtles came out in '86.
Well, no, the cartoon came out in '86. I think the comic might have been '82.
But it would have. I mean, it wasn't the '70s. It wasn't like they were.
No, it wasn't the '70s.
Yeah, it was like Dave was already out for a while and like doing his thing. And people were like, "Wow, he's still doing it. Damn, he's still going." But what are actually? This is.
Yeah, we don't have an original copyright date for the issues in the front that I can see. But yeah, I just wanted to go over, do a little overview here of because these are original. Another crazy thing about the Ninja Turtles is by issue number 5. So this is still issue 2, and so April has now been like, "Oh, Baxter, you're a bad guy. You want these Mousers to kill everybody in New York? I'm going to go be on the team with the Turtles." And so they now, within issue 2, April's done switch sides and is now Team Turtle. But by issue, so that this we're concluding, we're working our way through issue 2 here. By issue number 5, we're going to jump ahead a little bit and kind of wrap this up. By issue number 5, the Ninja Turtles had already. There's Casey Jones for you.
Nice.
That's issue 4, and by issue 5, they run into this character named Fugitoid, and they end up in an interdimensional like space portal. That's kind of. I mean, that's supposed to be April too. So
yeah, that's stuff. See, that's what I'm saying. I would think like maybe like unless it's supposed to, well, that's supposed to be that like she changed. Yeah, she got a new. She got a perm. Yeah,
but that's kind of it's an unfortunate. Not sure why.
Did you ever get a perm?
No.
No, you were never. That was before your time, or you just.
No, I just. I'm a Gen Xer. I had long hair and then I had a bowl cut.
Yeah, well, I think by the
shaved
time
my head.
I don't think kids were getting perms, but there was definitely a time where like white men and white women were getting like perm their hair.
Definitely before my time. So here we have these things. I forget what they're called. The name of these creatures escapes me, but this is what the Ultrons are what these things are called, and they live in the stomachs of robots, and that's what inspired Krang in the TV show. But these characters. There's a million of them. Like they're not just one. There's not one guy, and there's not a guy named Krang. But they end up blasting. See, these things are awesome.
Oh.
And so they get into a fight with these guys, and they end up getting blasted in issue 5. Well, this might be issue. No, this is issue 5. Here's Fugitoid, their robot buddy, and they end up getting blasted to an alien dimension. And now they're hanging out in like a fucking Star Wars cantina. Hanging out with aliens. Look at this little guy.
Okay.
Look at this little dude.
There was a comic they had done together before the Turtles, or no?
They had been working on Fugitoid as a comic.
Okay.
So that's why they decided by issue 5 they just stuck Turtles was doing so well. They just stuck Fugitoid into the Turtles, and then this is when we meet the next sort of big bad in the Ninja Turtles comic series. Keep in mind, we're only 5 issues in. We meet the Triceratons.
Triceratops.
The Triceratons.
What?
And they're these Triceratops aliens, humanoid aliens, and they're going to be our big bad for like 3 issues, all the way up. I don't think the Ninja Turtles make it back to Earth until issue number 8. Maybe it's issue 7. So they're in space. This is the Triceratons home base. And let me just point out again how amazing
Yeah, yeah,
the
that
art
is
flow
like
of Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird is. Like, I don't know, they get credit for creating the Ninja Turtles, but do they get credit for slanging this ink, dude?
it's
This is
nuts.
this is just great, great inking from this pair. I love the Fugitoid design. He just looks panicked at all times.
Right?
Obviously, he's a C-3PO pastiche.
He looks like they were looking at that for that Robots movie that had
Right.
Robin Williams and all those
Robert
people,
Williams,
Ewan
yeah.
McGregor and all of them.
I love these the Triceratons. They've had such a cool look. But anyway, that's this. I'm just amazed by their art. I've probably been through this comic 1,000 times. I'm amazed at the craftsmanship of these pages.
Well,
But
you know what I did have though that is completely related. I don't have it now, but I used to have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles role playing game book.
oh yeah, that was a big deal back then. That was like they used to say in the back back pages of the comics, like, we got a big surprise coming.
Yeah, what,
And in retrospect, you'd think they were talking about the TV series. They were talking about that role playing game. That was a big deal to them. That was a very big deal to them.
yeah, it was pretty. It was like you could. It had all kinds of lists of like different animals and like all kinds of things they could do, and it was like filled with all kinds of pictures of like other, like other animal creatures turning into like ninjas and warriors and like all kind, like characters that you could play. It's like I don't think I ever played the thing, but like the same thing. Like I remember looking at that. Now that I think about it, like I remember looking through it so many times because it was just, it's all their same artwork in there. Ferrets. I had a pair of ferrets as pets when I was a kid too, and I remember there were ferrets in the game. So I used to tell them that could be them.
Right. Now, I've flipped through hundreds of pages of this comic. Have you seen anything that's like so violent you wouldn't want kids to look at?
I mean, just unless you if it's like kung fu violence or whatever, but I mean it's not.
No, it's just kung fu violence, man. There's nothing crazy about it.
Yeah, there's a couple like spit takes or blood spots or something, but I mean,
but they're not chopping limbs off or decapitating people.
Yeah, it's not like how it because I remember that as a kid. Like I remember other kids telling me that, like, oh yeah, man, the original comics are like they're like super crazy, like all like they were all just killing people, and it's crazy, man. I was like, oh,
and it don't happen. It doesn't. So that was no, that was issue 6. So issue 7 takes us back to New York City. We're back home in New York City, and so this is the first. This is the collection. This is the first 7 issues, and that leads us directly into issue number 8, which is a big deal,
right?
Because issue number 8 was the first crossover comic for the Ninja Turtles, and they got to cross over with Dave Sim's Cerebus character. So in another video, we're going to cover the Cerebus crossover of.
And they worked on that together, right? Like
they did.
They drew the pages.
They sent the boards to Canada to Dave. Dave drew Cerebus, and then mailed the boards back to Kevin and Peter to finish the issue. It's crazy how you used to have to work. All the money that like FedEx and those kind of places made, faxing and sending this stuff back and forth to each other was crazy. But we'll also cover a little bit of the Todd McFarlane, not to be outdone. Todd seems to have fever dreams about Dave Sim, because not only did he need his own Cerebus crossover in Spawn, but he also claims to have defeated Dave Sim in the
number of issues
in the quest to create the most issues, where Dave Sim did 300 issues of Cerebus and then retired, more or less. Todd McFarlane claims to have done, and I say claims to have done more than 300 issues of Cerebus, because he didn't write and draw 300 issues. He came and went as the artist. He came and went as the writer. Sure, he oversaw it. It's always been his property. Yes, it technically is his independent property that he owns. But Dave Sim freaking drew every panel of 300 pages. He brought in Gerhardt to do the backgrounds, but Dave Sim's hand is on every page of all 300 issues. And so Todd McFarlane's got a kind of a an inferiority complex, I think, to one Dave Sim.
Technicality.
We'll get into that. Or I'm kind of,
It's like
we'll get into that. That's for another video, sir. So for now, that concludes our Mandela Effect Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coverage. You decide for yourself if this comic was as violent or as ultra gory, or we didn't really go over a lot of the text, but I don't think they cuss a lot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like they cuss at all.
They're like, I mean, if they're going to school, maybe like whenever they start reading, whenever you can start reading. Maybe not like the first comic to give them, because like it does seem like it would be like kind of overwhelming to be like, okay, here's the first thing to read, the original Turtles. You know what I mean?
But I mean that's now we're down to like, should it be the first thing you give your third grader, as opposed to it just being for kids? It's for kids in general.
Yeah, I think it. I wouldn't see it, and I've had children.
If you disagree, let us know in the comments. So for now, we're going to get out of here, gang. You can follow me and all my dealings over at my Patreon page, linked in the description. Almost 20 years worth of comics, novels, and feature films, all for the low price of $3 a month on my Patreon. Dr. Ben, you've got a new project in the works. What's that called?
It's called Let Us Get. I'm gonna be releasing. Well, I'm going to Erie Comic Con in next month. I mean, I don't know when this goes up, but so I'll have like a
just give the date. Do you know the date offhand?
Yeah, September 20th through 22nd. So I'll have like an ash can. I'm gonna have like the ash can version, and I hope to have like the whatchamacallit, like the crowdfund thing up by then for the first issue. But
you can find that all that info on Dr. Ben's YouTube channel, which is linked below. And new to the channel, we have just activated memberships. So for $2.99 a month, if you join the YouTube membership, you get access to all these videos before anybody else. There are half a dozen or more at any given time, members-only videos that will go live to the public later. So for $2.99 a month, you get access to our videos early. So with that being said, I'm Kevin Strange for Dr. Ben, and we will see you at the Dollar Bin.